So question about the halving. I've heard it called the halvening or the halving, but either one. We're getting to that in April, I think, right? Yep. And that's been a bullish thing before. I sort of wonder, is it the same thing, though? Is that already getting priced in, or is there something technical that actually happens that would make it be priced in closer to the event?
So, so what we've seen historically is that the 12 to 16 months after a halvening is the best performance of Bitcoin. So that's what everybody's thinking about. This time might be different because the price of Bitcoin's higher. We now only have, I think it's 900 Bitcoin a day that come out, so that gets cut in half. It's not a lot of Bitcoin, but what it does do is it makes Bitcoin more scarce than gold. So for the first time in history, you have an asset that is more scarce than gold.
In what way more scarce?
Let's call it a stock-to-flow ratio. So the amount of Bitcoin mined every year divided by the amount outstanding, same with gold. And now there'll be, quote-unquote, less Bitcoin than gold mined on a relative basis.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcomed you to the bull run yesterday, and today it looks like Blackrock may have made the 21 amendments that will finally launch the Spot Bitcoin ETF. Here is senior ETF analyst from Bloomberg, Eric Balchuna's superb rundown of all 21 changes in Blackrock's latest S1, and they were filed last night. The main theme is security. For example, private keys, how they're being stored, cold storage versus a mix of hot and cold. We are going to break those down, but Balchuna says with the level of detail this intense, you can see why a lot of people think this is probably the last comment round. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very close. So close, in fact, that BlackRock says a seed investor bought 100,000 worth of its Bitcoin ETF shares this October. And of course, that's just the beginning. Prepare yourselves. There is no fever like Bitcoin fever. Once the bull market gets going, the price moves, it's going to make your heart race and your pupils dilate. But as Tortemister says, this bull market will bring violent corrections, FUD, euphoria, disillusion, camaraderie, an ocean of noise. But remember, it's important to keep focusing inward. A low center of gravity makes for a stable boat. The good thing is we know that boat's destination. Check this out. Swiss fund manager Hondo Asset officially files a Spot Bitcoin ETF application that now makes 13 Bitcoin ETF applications in total, likely a majority, 8 to 9, 8 to 10, all going to get approved at once. Trillions of dollars in demand are about to meet the lowest amount of Bitcoin on exchanges since 2016. Demand shock times supply shock equals price shock. Yo, we got a lot to cover. Let's get it. Party, that party. Yeah, come and have a good time with G.O.D. And all those people that said it's a when, not an if, well, it's becoming more likely by the day. And here is Grayscale's CEO just recently on Last Call.
Do you know anybody that would like to have a Bitcoin ETF?
Well, as you know,
the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. There was an article in CNBC Pro today that people that were cited said they were very optimistic that a Bitcoin ETF would be approved in early 2024. Whatever you know, I know you can't say it or confirm anything. I get that. It's all very legalese. But are you optimistic we will get one?
I am optimistic that we will get one. As you know, we want.
But you've been optimistic for a few years.
Well, because we've been working on it for years, and that's our number one priority, right? We won our court case against the SEC this summer. We've continued to have really positive, really constructive engagement with the SEC, and it remains a matter of when, not a matter of if. And we have
You're that confident. The when, not the if.
I am that confident. We have investors in all 50 states. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is the largest Bitcoin investment vehicle in the world. It's been around for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Investors have been very patiently waiting for this day to come.
And the deniers are slowly waking up. Take a look here, Steve Hanke. Remember all that shade you threw at El Salvador and Bukele? Well, look who's in the green, my friend. Okay, now let's check this out. These are the 21 major amendments to BlackRock's latest Bitcoin ETF filing, likely the last amendments that will launch the Spot Bitcoin ETF. Let's run them down. All right, here we go. Details filed in regarding seed capital investors' initial $100,000 purchase of 4,000 shares at $25 per share. Seed shares will be later redeemed for cash, followed by additional undisclosed purchases, forming seed creation baskets. Larry is stacking. Sponsor's fee may currently not be waived, but BlackRock pledges to notify shareholders of any future fee waivers. All private keys the Bitcoin custodian holds will now be kept in cold storage rather than a mix of hot and cold. Trust Prime Broker trading balance holdings represent proportional claims on aggregate assets, not specific Bitcoins. The majority are kept in cold storage. It expanded specifics on scenarios that could trigger the suspension of trust share transactions, including issues with key service providers. Market conditions could make other Bitcoin investments more appealing than trust shares. Have fun staying poor. Reducing demand and liquidity. Defined PB mutually capped liabilities, outlining prime broker liability limits in additional situations like negligence. Expanded uncertainties around digital asset regulations to include timing and potential legislation changes. Added SEC action against XRP shitcoin issuer as an example of potential consequences of Bitcoin being classified as a security, already been classified as property and a commodity. So go fuck yourself, Ripple. Amendments highlighted emerging UK and EU regulations and unpredictable global events that could impact digital asset prices. Enhanced AML and sanctions compliance procedures, but the risk remains of inaccuracy from market makers. Streamlined Bitcoin custody to all cold storage with Bitcoin custodian. Clarified relationship with prime broker. Adopted a new valuation policy aligned with accounting standards to identify the principal Bitcoin market. Will feature a range of new data on the website. It also formalized rigorous criteria for selecting Bitcoin exchanges included in the CF Benchmarks Index. All right, let's round them out. Introduced intraday indicative value calculation for shareholder transparency on timely trust value changes. Clarified legal protections and succession planning for separate trustees. Well, looks good here. Looks like Larry and the gang are keeping things frosty. Shift to exclusive use of cold storage for all private keys associated with Trust Bitcoin. Streamlined explanation of cold storage protocols for private keys, focusing on security measures. Detailed procedures around blockchain forks and termination policies for the custodian agreement. Specified limited purposes for which trust assets may be held with prime broker. Outlined storage methods and cash management. And finally, changes around trade, credit lender operations, and risks, including Bitcoin sales protocol if trade credits are unavailable. But everybody wants some of that Bitcoin news. Bitwise Invest submits a second S1 prospectus amendment for their Spot Bitcoin ETF. We have ongoing discussions taking place with the potential issuers. As we covered the other day, it's looking like between January 5th and 10th, it's about to go green light, green candles, get ready. Now this one, Pomp goes on CNBC, and I have a couple clips here. I thought it was just interesting that the guy speaking right now, he is a major doubter on Bitcoin, and the other guy, it's like the how we go through the process of orange pilling people and how obvious it is, but this is a great conversation. And what is amazing is the fact that the world is discussing what is money, and they're trying to open up other people's eyes to Bitcoin. And this is on the mainstream normie TV.
What we've watched is regulators have stepped in and they basically are slapping the wrist of anyone who is not operating within the American financial system.
Michael Saylor, has had, I guess down at 17,000, there were people that thought that he was going to get like a margin call or something. He's back now. I don't know how much he bought, something like, how much?
He's got 174,000 Bitcoin. He's up $2 billion on it.
He made some weird comment the other day, and that was about what percentage of the global financial system, in his view, Bitcoin will represent at some point. And then he did some simple math and came out with some crazy number. What was it? I saw that.
There's all kinds of numbers that fly around.
But it was like 5 to 10 million per coin or something was what he came up with.
If Bitcoin just simply matches gold, it'd be $500,000. If it's
$500,000 if it
matches gold at $10 trillion. Now, if you continue to look at other assets it could eat into, if you have $1 today and you want to store wealth, you historically could have bought gold, you could have bought fine art, you could have bought all kinds of real estate, whatever.
Hard asset.
Young people are saying to themselves, I want to buy the hardest asset I can find, which tends to be Bitcoin. And it's liquid, and it is the best performing asset over the last 10 years.
But it's not. But the Saylor question is how much of it becomes part of the quote unquote financial system, and is he suggesting that there has to be a payments element or an actual transaction element?
But he was saying gold. You weren't saying a payment. If it became part of the payment system, it could be much bigger.
Well, but it also, if it became part of, and this goes back to, can it really be part of the payment system and have and continue to increase? Because as we've discussed a million times, if it keeps increasing, nobody's ever going to use it.
Except there's that company we had on that uses just tiny little pieces of Bitcoin.
Here's what I would say. Whenever I
do it, and it doesn't matter the little minuscule variations on a daily basis.
Whenever I talk to someone in private and they ask me about Bitcoin, I tell them it's very simple. If you think that the Federal Reserve and other central banks are going to have to print capital or print money in order to finance all of this debt, then you're going to want to be in something other than dollars. And
you've got to get Andrew on board. You're still not on board.
I have been. You must be curious.
Are you more skeptical?
From the beginning.
But at 25,000, you were
really. I was probably early on my.
There was a number you once said that if it hit, that you would think about buying it for your kids.
$5,000.
$5,000.
Right. But at 25, you were really saying this is way too. Now it's 42. You gotta eventually throw in the towel. What number where you'll say I believe in it? 100?
Going back to the beginning, guys, CNBC was talking about after the halving, it's going to be the first time in history we will have an asset that is more scarce than gold. People are talking about store of value, the history of money. What is money in the mainstream media? So I think it's kind of safe to say we're winning. As Ray Dalio warned, the end of free money makes it harder to plow trillions into climate projects given they lose money. And all these expenses in which the government misallocates capital, they lower the quality and raise the cost of anything they touch. War on drugs, major L. Go look at San Francisco. Not good. Sorry, San Franciscoites. At least the Niners are killing it. War on poverty. That's looking good. War on inflation. I mean, we can go on and on. But the one war they'll never win is a war on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is taking the world stage in a major way as all this calamity is here. And it seems to be foretold in the Genesis block as there was that section talking about chaos in the Middle East, along with all the banking chaos, and it's all here all over again, except the dynamics are different, right? The debt to GDP ratio is completely out of hand. They hiked interest rates at a record pace. Inflation still hasn't let up. There's like geopolitical turmoil on a scale we haven't seen in a very long time, and Bitcoin has proven itself every day, every block, to be the safe haven. Yo, and you want to make sure that you're taking care of your generational wealth. And if you need help getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, taking self-custody, or taking things to the next level wherever you are in your Bitcoin journey, we got just the guys to get you covered. Simply Bitcoin Originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. And if you want to take self-custody, get your Bitcoin off those exchanges, well, as your dedicated Bitcoin IT team, the Bitcoin Way is here to guide you from start to finish on your journey to properly self-custody your Bitcoin. What's more, they've recently introduced 100% privacy-focused collaborative custody services where you'll benefit from advanced multi-sig security, inheritance planning, and much more while remaining 100% in control. Looking to get started or take your Bitcoin setup to the next level? Book a free 30-minute call using that link below. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Be sure to like, subscribe, share that Sound Money Gospel. Be sure to follow us on Twitter where we're getting all the latest breaking news. Set those notifications and we will be your guide through the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. Hey guys, stay tuned. We will be live streaming the Unconfiscatable Conference from Vegas. You're going to see a lot of Nico. I might help Opti backstage with some interviews with some awesome Bitcoiners. You already know Sophie's going to be around, so look out for her and the camera, and we'd love to get you on Simply. Look forward to seeing you guys. Going to be a lot of fun, and all this stuff going on, all the bullishness, it's all just getting started. So buckle up, guys. Stay tuned. Until next time, guys, peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.